Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Come one, come all. Today we are talking about how to build your corporate exit strategy. I love talking about this topic because it's an important topic and it's one that I know is asked about again and again. So I think it's important that we keep this topic fresh and, keep it alive so that you guys feel good about your corporate exit strategy and that you have a corporate exit strategy. So that is what we'll do the training on today. I really want to encourage you guys to ask questions. Get in there, ask me questions, tell me where you feel stuck. These lives are not meant to be just me speaking at you. They're meant to be us having a conversation and a dialogue. So if you feel stuck, you feel scared, there's anything with regards to your corporate exit strategy that is bothering you, please, drop me a comment in the live so that I can address that and help you out with that. Okay, before I get started here, I'm just checking in the group, making sure that the video, you guys can see me, can hear me. Maybe if you're coming in, if you could drop me a comment, let me know where you're watching from, just so I can make sure I can see your comments on Facebook. That's always helpful. So drop me a comment. Let me know where you're watching from. Let me know how hot it is where you're watching from. I know we're having a crazy heat wave right now. Okay, so I've got this pulled up so I can see your comments. We've got Heather in the house today. We have, Heather is going to be tagging some of you guys to make sure that you're catching the live. For those of you who haven't met me yet, I know we have some new members in our Facebook group that are coming in this week. My name is Betty Kempa. I'm a business coach for coaches, a marketing strategist, a LinkedIn expert. For those of you familiar with IPEC, I am an IPEC graduate, a member of the Forbes Coaches Council, and I am the founder of the Corporate to Six-Figure Coach Academy. So my specialty, what I do, which is very relevant to the topic at hand today, is I help corporate renegades ditch the 9-to-5 and repackage their genius into a six-figure coaching business using my signature methodology, the 5 C's of building a six-figure coaching business. So that's a little bit about me. As always, if you would like additional coaching support with your business, I'm here for that. There's a link in the copy of this post where you can apply for a discovery call with my team so we can just get to know you, learn about your business challenges and goals, and then that would be your opportunity to ask us any questions and we can see if you're a fit for the Corporate to Six-Figure Coach Academy. Again, as you're coming in, drop me a comment. Let me know where you're watching from. I'd also like to hear, are you still in your 9-to-5? So drop me a comment. Let me know, are you still in your 9-to-5? One major announcement before we get started with today's training is about the Choose Your Niche, Nail Your Messaging Bootcamp. So the previous bootcamp got rescheduled. Unfortunately, as many of you know, I had to be rushed to the hospital for an emergency hip replacement surgery. Not fun, but it's over now. And I don't know, I just feel really happy and excited because I'm walking without my walker, without the wheelchair, got through the surgery, and I'm recovering. So thank you so much for all of your patience, your grace, your prayers, your energy, because I felt it when I was going through surgery and recovery. So thank you so much for that. And the other good news is the boot camp that had to be rescheduled because of the surgery is now rescheduled. We've got it on the books. So this is a free 5-day Choose Your Niche, Nail Your Messaging Bootcamp. It is now taking place, so mark your calendars, July 11th through July 15th. So those are the dates. Mark your calendars. It's happening. It's the first boot camp of the year. Now, if you registered for the January or the May boot camp, good news is you will automatically be registered for this one. So if you registered for the January or the May boot camp, you'll be on our list. You're automatically registered for this one. One thing though, you will want to DM Heather Copey. Again, you guys will see she just dropped a comment under this video, so you'll see her there. DM Heather to get an updated copy of the July Choose Your Niche workbook. So I created this 12-page guide to guide you guys through the boot camp. There's an updated version of that for the July boot camp. So if you've already registered in January and May, go ahead and DM Heather to get your copy of that workbook. Heather, wave your hand in the comments so they can find you. So again, for those of you who are not familiar with the boot camp, this is an exciting event. My promise to you guys with this boot camp is that it will be jam-packed with more value than your last paid program. So what we're going to do in the boot camp is we're going to solve the niche and the messaging problem that's holding a lot of you guys back from ditching that corporate 9-to-5 and building out your six-figure coaching business. So that's usually the catalyst. Can't land the niche, can't get the messaging right. So go ahead, check the comments below. Attached to this video, there is a link to the registration page to register for the boot camp. You will want to register now to save your spot and receive that 12-page workbook. So again, if you see the copy next to the video, I dropped in a link for you guys to register for the boot camp if you haven't registered yet. Again, you'll be, by the end of the boot camp, you'll have chosen a profitable niche that you love, and that's the idea. It's a niche you love, but they can also afford you. And the idea here is that clients prefer to hire specialists and experts over generalists. From a marketing perspective, that's going to be a major, major game changer in jumpstarting your coaching business. The second thing you're going to walk away with after this boot camp is your messaging is going to be on point. And where most coaches go wrong is that they're like, yeah, I chose my niche, but then I look at their copy and their messaging and they're not able to succinctly explain or write copy about their coaching services in a way that captures the attention of the prospect. Clarity is king, and that part is super critical. So that was my little mini announcement. If you haven't registered yet, register. Link is in the comments so that you get your 12-page workbook. Can't wait to see you guys there. Totally free, July 11th through July 15th. So there you go. If you're wondering, if you're new to the group, or maybe you know some coaches like this and you're like, I don't know if I should invite this friend or not, or I don't know if I need this boot camp or not. The Choose Your Niche, Nail Your Messaging boot camp is for you if, number one, if you're not at six figures in your coaching business yet and you can't figure out why, this boot camp is for you. Number two, if you need help identifying a niche that you're passionate about, who can also afford your package, this boot camp is for you. Three, if you need to hone in on your messaging so that your ideal clients understand exactly who you help with what, and then are flocking to you, this boot camp is for you. If you just want my personalized feedback, I'll be very in the mix with this boot camp. I'll be hot seat coaching. It'll be very interactive. So if you just want my expertise, you want, to be able to get my feedback, this boot camp is for you. Or perhaps for some of you guys, maybe you attended one of the last boot camps last year, but life got in the way and you didn't have time to finish it. So this boot camp is for you. So that's it. That's my spiel. Make sure you register so you can get your workbook. Okay, let's get started here. As you're coming in, drop me a comment. How about give me a comment right now. What is the hardest part? Give me a comment. What's the hardest part about ditching the 9-to-5 and going full-time with your coaching business? I'd love to know that from you guys, whether you're watching live or replay. And if you're watching replay, give me a hashtag replay. But I want to hear, what is the hardest part about ditching your 9-to-5 and going full-time with your coaching business? I'm going to check the comments here and make sure I can see everybody. There's Rochelle. Hey, Rochelle. There's Hallie. Carrie Jo is here. Hey, Carrie Jo. Okay, good. The gang is here. Okay, so let's get going here. Today's topic, how to build your corporate exit strategy. Very important. Very important. I know this topic can be almost like an excuse as far as why people don't begin with their coaching business. It's like, well, I don't know what the exit plan is. So let's build that out. You should have an exit plan. It's not about like, oh, I need to quit my corporate job tomorrow. This is about let's build out a plan so that I know what to expect and I know when the time is right to make that transition, right? We want to be very, very strategic with this. And you know what I'll say is the reason why it feels scary to leave a corporate job, the reason why you're stuck in paralysis is because you don't have a plan. We like plans. My people like plans. I like plans. When you don't have a plan, that's when it feels scary. That's when you feel stuck. Once you have a plan, it no longer feels scary. So what does that entail? First off, what I will say and drive home till the cows come home, do not make a transition like this from corporate to entrepreneur, from corporate to coach. Do not make a transition like this in a bubble. Don't do it. That's when it feels isolated. Get a squad of experts to support you. You should have a squad of experts supporting you through that transition. Okay? The first one is going to be your financial advisor. Your financial, if you don't have one, get one. Your first one should be your financial advisor. So what you want to do is meet with your financial advisor to understand. And by the way, many of you that are in corporate jobs, I remember when I was in mine, a lot of them will give you access to some type of financial advisor, as it pertains to your 401k, et cetera. So, check with your place of work. Oftentimes there's a contact person who, you can talk to about your 401k. So check there first. But you want to meet with your financial advisor to understand what needs to happen financially for you to be able to make the switch, right? That's a conversation you need to have with them. And of course, that's going to look different for everyone. What needed to happen for me financially making the switch was different than what's going to need to happen for you. You're going to want to discuss with your financial advisor what's going to happen with my 401k, right? What happens with that? For me, and I'm not a financial advisor, so, just got to say that. Don't take everything that I say, take it with a grain of salt. But for me personally, I ended up putting my 401k in Vanguard, in something called Vanguard. But your financial advisor will guide you on this. That is just the route that I took. And I continue to put a portion of my income, from coaching into that account so that, just like a 401k was growing, my investments are growing. So that doesn't stop just because I'm a entrepreneur. But your financial advisor will guide you on this. If you are saving up for paying for your kids for college, etc., again, bring all these things to the table when you're talking to your financial advisor on what this will look like as you transition into building your business. Okay, so that's action item number one, guys. Number two, you need to decide, what do you want your finances to look like before you take the leap out of corporate America? So the second thing that I would recommend is, look at your credit card debt. Credit card debt. Okay. Look at your credit card debt. So, in a kind of generic way, I would just say, you want to get a handle on your debt and your bills, right? You just get a handle on it, right? Awareness, we're coaches, right? Awareness is the first step, even though that's the scary step. So you need to determine, we're talking about credit card debt, what will need to happen for you to be able to pay that off, right? So, and again, it's all about priorities, right? If the priority, the dream, the goal, the vision is, I want to start this incredible coaching business and eventually I want to transition out of this the golden handcuffs, the shackles of my 9 to 5 eventually, and live this life where I'm free and I'm running this coaching business. If that's the dream, the goal, the vision, then you might want to decide, hey, maybe I'm going to put the international trip that cost me 10K on hold this year while I build the business, or the spa that I mean, and this was me too, back in the day in the corporate world. I was going on international trips all the time. I was going to the spa every month just for that first year. I didn't put on hold forever. I love that stuff. I love traveling. I love spas. And I'm back to that now, right? That I have all the freedom in the world, time freedom, money freedom. But just for that first year, as you're kind of mapping out your transition, you might just want to determine, hey, maybe this year I'll focus more on investing in my business, paying off my credit card debt versus some of these other fluff expenses. So that's just something you need to determine for yourself. Where are you at with your credit card debt? And what will need to happen for you to be able to pay that off? Now, you don't need all your credit cards paid off in order to start a business, but just bring it to your awareness so you can make this transition strategically, right? In a way you're comfortable with. Item number 3 is, how many months of bills do you want saved up? Typically, word on the street is, people might want a buffer of anywhere from 3 to 6 months worth of bills saved up. Okay. Now, again, this is arbitrary. You have to determine your comfort level, right? You have to determine how much money do you need to set aside each paycheck that comes in towards saving up to your little nest egg. So you need to determine what will feel good for me, how much savings will feel good for me to officially leave the corporate job and focus on my business. Do I want to have 3 months worth of bills saved up, or do I want to have 6 months worth of bills saved up? You have to determine your comfort level. Talk to your significant other, talk to your financial advisor, meditate on it, right? Decide your comfort level. And from there, you need to determine, okay, this is my paycheck from my corporate job every month. How much of that money am I going to set aside towards my nest egg, my 3 to 6 months of savings? I also recommend you look at your reoccurring bills, right? That's how you determine, 3 to 6 months of savings. You need to know, how much do I spend each month, right? What's my mortgage payment? What's my electric? What are my groceries? How much is Target? What is the gas? So you want to have that, here's how much I spend per month, and then times that by how many months you want to save up. There's a couple good apps I recommend. There's one called You Need a Budget, YNAB. It's an app on your phone, You Need a Budget. Or if you're super old school like me, I'll just print out bank statements and then I'll just highlight, I'll highlight the bills that I need to incorporate into my budget. You can use Google Sheets. There's a template in Google Sheets. There's literally a budget template, and it's pretty good. If you go into your Google Drive, there is a budget template that you could use. And what I want to tell you is, cancel the reoccurring fees you don't need. So rather than say, yeah, I spent 6K last month, so that's how much I need, 6,000 times 6 months, that's how much savings I need. Before you do that, go through and cancel all your reoccurring fees that you don't need. And that there's stuff you signed up for that is continuing to ding you every month. And that's why I say go through and highlight on your bank statement all the reoccurring fees and get rid of them. Get rid of the stuff you're not using, because we're trying to be strategic about this, right? And use our money wisely. So at the end of the day, when it comes to finances, you need to determine what would make you feel confident about making the switch, right? And these are some of the ways to do that. The next thing to consider when making the transition is health insurance. Health insurance. This is something that scares people, but it shouldn't be scary. It should be exciting and wonderful. Health insurance. So you have different options with health insurance when it comes to leaving the corporate world and becoming an entrepreneur. Before I jump into that, I just want to keep up with comments here. Denise, hey, Aunt Denise is here. Good morning, Aunt Denise. My Aunt Denise is joining us today. So good to see you. She wrote an amazing book, The Bountiful Garden. She's a coach. She's an author. For those of you who haven't met my Aunt Denise, she's amazing. She also went to IPEC. For those of you who went to IPEC, but reach out to her and say hello. She's in the comments. Sasha's with us. Hey, Sasha, good to see you again. Monica's with us. Hey, Monica. For those of you guys that are watching with us, drop me a question. Let me know, when it comes to making your transition from your 9-to-5 to your coaching business, what's the biggest obstacle holding you back? What's the one thing that's freaking you out? Tell me in the comments, because I want to make sure I'm addressing that, okay? So back to talking about health insurance here. Option one is you can hop onto your partner's health insurance, right? So if your significant other has health insurance, you can hop onto their health insurance. So that's an easy one. For me, I'm using marketplace health insurance. So, I don't know. I'm not a health insurance agent. That's why I say you need a team of experts. So I'm giving you kind of an overview here, but get a health insurance agent. Talk this through with the health insurance expert, right? We're talking about your squad here, financial advisor, health insurance agent, right? But I'm just going to give you an overview. I'm using marketplace healthcare coverage, or some people call it Obamacare. I'm using that for insurance right now myself, and it's incredible. And let me tell you, I use a lot of medical care, okay? Especially the surgery I just had. I was in the hospital for like a week with that because there were some additional complications. I use a lot of medical care, but I have a freaking amazing healthcare plan that covered all of it. So I just share that because I want to reiterate, you don't need to be in a corporate job to have good healthcare. And I just want to say it again for the people in the back that are using this as an excuse not to make the transition. You don't need to be in a corporate job to have good healthcare. I have incredible healthcare as an entrepreneur because I worked with a health insurance expert who guided me into the right coverage in marketplace. And side note, if you want their name, let me know. I'll DM you, or I'll drop it in the comments. I'm happy to recommend her to you all. But at the end of the day, this is a part of your team of experts. Get a health insurance agent. They will guide you. You can also go to different Facebook groups for entrepreneurs. You could use this one and ask, post in this group, hey guys, who here has a good health insurance agent that you recommend? But at the end of the day, don't fret about this or be scared about this, the topic of health insurance, because this is not a reason not to build your business. It's just math. So what you want to do is bake your monthly health insurance cost into your new budget. That's it. It's just math. Again, I will tell you the amount that I currently pay for health insurance, because I pay, a certain amount every month, versus how much money I actually bring in my coaching business. The health insurance is such a small portion of how much income I'm actually bringing in now. It's not a thing, okay? It's just math. It's a part of my budget. So take away the scaries and talk to an expert, figure out the cost, bake that into your budget, right? Okay, just checking comments. Hallie says, yes, so true. Heather says, I have a great agent as well. There's a lot of solutions. Yeah, Exactly. This doesn't need to be a reason not to make the switch, right? It's just math. Next item on the agenda. You need to understand your new entrepreneurial budget. New entrepreneurial budget. I probably spelled that wrong. Entrepreneurial. It's my spell check. You need to understand your new entrepreneurial budget, meaning once you leave your corporate job, how much money do you need to make or have each month to get by, right? So there's your personal budget, which will include your health care, your personal bills, your mortgage, your groceries, your electric. So understand what's that bucket, what's my personal budget after leaving the corporate job, and then what's my business budget after leaving the corporate job? Business related expenses. Some of them will be one-time expenses, like a website, right? But just in general, some of them will be reoccurring. Your calendar system, the CRM you use, your email marketing system, your business coach. Don't do this transition without a business coach. It's painful that way. Somebody else has already done this before you. So get a mentor. But those are two things you need to understand: your new entrepreneurial budget, your personal budget, and your business budget. P.S. I did another training in this group on the title was how much does it cost to start a life coaching business? That was the title of this training. I did it maybe a couple weeks ago. Raise your hand if you want that training, and Heather will go ahead and tag you in that training if you want it. In that training specifically, I go more in depth with the business budget. How much do you have to put aside from a business? How much does it cost to start a life coaching business? Your business budget. So if you need that, raise your hand, drop a comment, and Heather will get that to you. The next thing, as it relates to your new entrepreneurial budget, talk to your partner. If you have a partner, have that conversation. And that was something I definitely did with my significant other as I was making this transition is, and ask, hey, what are you willing to support during this transition? Because for a hot minute, you may need a little extra support, right? So if you've got a partner, have that transparent conversation. At the end of the day, once you understand your new entrepreneurial budget, this is my personal budget, this is my business budget, this is how much my partner is willing to kick in, or whatever that looks like. Once you understand that, you will understand how much money to save, or how much money you'll need to be pulling in with clients before you can take the leap, right? So what are we doing here so far? We're building our expert squad, and we're bringing things to awareness versus letting them feel scary, so we can develop this plan. The next item you want to consider is decide what you want your coaching business to look like before you take the leap. Coaching business vision. So I just wrote coaching business vision. But what I mean by that is decide what you want your coaching business to look like before you take the leap, right? Because you're in your corporate job, I hope you're gonna start working on your coaching business while you're in the job. You need to decide, at what stage in the game do I want my coaching business to be at or look like? And then once it hits that stage, I feel comfortable taking the leap. I will say, and again, this is one of the hills I'm going to die on. There are certain things you want to get done in your business before you take the leap, right? Before you take the leap. So here I am, I'm still in my corporate job, I'm doing my thing. Before I take the leap, I want to choose my niche and nail my messaging. That's number one. I'm doing that while I'm in the corporate job. That's going to entail some research. We're going to have to do some market validation. We're going to have to run some ideal client avatar surveys. We're going to have to position you in the market. So side note, that first thing you need to get done before you take the leap, the niche and the messaging, we're going to do that together in the boot camp, July 11th. So register for that if you haven't already. The second thing you need to get done before you take the leap is you have to build out your coaching package, right? Now, my recommendation, and I'm not going to go too far down this rabbit hole, different topic, but you need to build out your coaching package. My recommendation is do not have a bazillion different packages you sell. You should have one super high value and probably higher ticket coaching package where it's got so much value, it's a no-brainer for the client, and you're able to sell 1 to 2 per month. You're not in hustle mode. You're still in a 9-to-5 job. You don't have time to be hustle, hustle, hustle. I got to sell 5, 6 of these little itty back packages per week or per month. You should be able to sell 1 to 2 per month and hit your financial target. Okay, that's what I teach people to do in the Corporate to Six-Figure Coach Academy. So your package, your signature method, all those things should be built out while you're still in the corporate job, right? We're doing back-end work and research. The third thing you're going to want done, maybe I should be writing these down. Okay. Niche and messaging. Package. Okay. So we're talking about what you need to get done while you're still in the 9-to-5 before you leap. The third thing is what I call in my program, curtains up, launch your brand. So the launch, all the back end work that goes into launching, you're doing that while you're still in your 9-to-5. Now again, this is part 3 in my program, in the Corporate to Six-Figure Coach Academy. I call it Curtains Up, Launch Your Brand. What does that entail? You got your website on point, your website copy, your website design, it's gone live. You have a lead magnet. You're branded appropriately. You have an email nurture sequence. Your social media profiles are optimized. These are all things we can work on while you're still at the 9-to-5, right? The fourth is client attraction system. Client attraction system. Okay, and system. System, it's one of those days. You guys know what I mean. Client attraction system. Notice the word system, because it's not about throwing spaghetti at a wall and what's going to attract clients to me. I've tried things, nothing's working. It's a system, and it's got to be in place. There are ways to attract clients while you're still at your corporate job, right? There are ways to automate it, outsource it, etc. You have to have a machine built to attract clients. Now, of course, if you need to be hush-hush about it because you're still in the 9-to-5, I work with clients like that can't be super out there on social media while they're still at their job. That's okay. There are ways to outreach on LinkedIn. You can pull them into a private Facebook group as part of your client funnel. There are a lot of ways around it while still in your corporate job. I have plenty of clients who are still at their corporate job and are killing it and attracting clients. So just don't feel afraid of that part. And then the fifth thing that you need to get a handle on before you worry about, quitting the job is you need to know how to sell, how to close the deal. So what does that entail? Well, you need to know how to run a discovery call. You need to know how to educate people on who you are as a coach before you get them on the phone. And you need to know how to convert cold leads into clients, right? So you want to have these 5 elements locked in, loaded before you leave the job. This is my program, the Corporate to Six-Figure Coach Academy. This is what we work on, right? This is what we do together. This is why I advise corporate professionals to start working with me and join the Corporate to Six-Figure Coach Academy before they're ready to leave their job. There's a lot to be done on your business while you're still there. The more you can do with your coaching business while still at the job, the better positioned you'll be for the leap. We want you to be making money with your coaching business before you leave the corporate job. So for example, my client Vicky, she's an IPAC coach working full time. She joined the academy. She brought in $23,000 in 2 weeks, right when she was getting ready to make the transition. So I share that because we want you to get to that point, right, where you're already bringing in money and clients in the business before you take the leap. So with this step, obviously, building the machine here that's going to be attracting clients, closing deals, etc. I highly recommend you work with a business coach, whether it's me or somebody else. I work with a business coach. I've never been without a business coach. You need a mentor, somebody who's been there, done that, and your business coach should be a part of your squad, right? Biz coach. It's part of your success squad, right? We've got the financial advisor, we've got the health insurance agent, we've got a business coach who's been there, done that, and can mentor you towards what they did. This is one of those investments that you got to work into your budget, right? You got to work that into your budget. I also work with my clients on the topic of how to balance getting their coaching business up and running while still at their corporate job, right? Because that can be tough too. Time management, right? Put it down here. Can you still see that? Yeah. Time management. Right? So as you're implementing this strategy to transition from corporate to coach, time management, balance, right? So some of the things I work with my clients are you want to set aside a certain number of hours per week to work on your business. That has to be time blocked. That can't be make-believe. I want to work on my business this weekend. It's got to be on the calendar. If it's not on the calendar, it isn't real. So you need to determine, we're talking about building out the strategy, how many hours per week do you want to work on your dream? Not just work on the business, work on your dream, your goal, your vision. Okay, time block that on your calendar. And then, where one thing comes in, something else has to go out, right? Something where I'm going to bring something in and start working on my business, something's got to give. So you're going to want to look at trimming the fat. So when I say trim the fat, I mean both at work and in your personal life. If I'm going to add X amount of hours per week, let's say I'm going to add 6 hours per week to work on my business, but I'm already slammed. I'm working a full-time job. A lot of my clients have kids, right? You're busy. So what's going to come off your plate? You're going to have to do a time audit, right? So look at work. Let's look at your 9 to 5. Where can you set more boundaries? Maybe you're going to say no to a certain number of meetings. Maybe you're not going to join some extra committees. Look at the activities you do at work. List out all the activities you do at work. And next to each activity at work, I want you to identify, out of all these things that I actually do every day, I did a time audit for a week, and this is what I actually do during my week. What can I outsource? What can I delegate to someone else? What can I automate? What can I streamline better? What can I eliminate? Right? So trim the fat at work. Then we're going to trim the fat in your personal life, right? And listen, I love Netflix, so I'm not going to tell you not to watch Netflix, but just look at your personal life and ask yourself, where in my personal life can I trim a little bit of fat? And maybe that is some mindless TV, not the good stuff, it's like enjoyable, but the mindless stuff where you're just you're not even there mentally. Maybe in your personal life, you're a person that always says yes to everything. Somebody asks you, hey, you want to go out and do this? Yeah, sure. Hey, do you want to, right? Yes, you're a yes person in your personal life. Sometimes you got to say no, right? So trimming the fat in your personal life. And here's what I want to leave you with. Every time you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. I want you to think about that all week, whether it's at work or in your personal life. Every time you say yes to something, you are saying no to something else. Okay? If building a coaching business is a priority for you, act accordingly, right? So last thing on my agenda here, and I'm switching back and forth because I'm trying to make sure I'm catching your comments. Hey, Nick Carter's here watching with us. Hey, Nick. Carrie Joe says, yes, please. All right, Carrie. Mark is here with us. Hey, Mark. All right, cool. And as you guys are coming in, drop me a comment. I want to know, what is the most challenging part for you currently as far as leaving the 9 to 5 and going full-time with your coaching business? What is the hardest part for you currently? Drop it in the comments so I can address it and help you with that. Last thing I want to call out here, we've talked about all these different parts of building out your corporate exit strategy. Last thing is D-Day. I call it D-Day. Okay, I guess I'll write that down. Here we go. D-Day. Do it in pink. D-Day. I'm starring that. So, D-Day. I used to call it D-Day. I'm actually now calling it Freedom Day. Freedom Day. Freedom Day. So, pick your Freedom Day. Here's the thing. Once you understand how long it's going to take to pay off credit card debt, if that's something that's important to you, once you understand how many months' bills you want saved up, whether that's somewhere in the 3 to 6 month range, once you understand where you want to be in your coaching business before you take the leap, I want to be this far along, I want to be making this much money per month in my coaching business. Once you understand those things, you can look at your calendar and literally put a sticker or a star on the day that you plan to take the leap, right? And then every day, trudge into the corporate job, you're working towards that day, okay? That's your Freedom Day. And I did that in my last corporate job. I had that sticker and I had this little scheduler I used, and I'd come in and I'd feel depressed and uninspired and unmotivated, and I would open my scheduler to that day and I'd be like, Freedom Day. I'm going to kill it in my job today because I'm working towards that day. And what I will tell you guys, you can freaking do this, okay? You can do this. Tap into your why each and every morning. Tap into your why. The fear of staying in the same stagnant corporate job will most likely outweigh the fear of starting a coaching business, okay? Create a blueprint and then execute, right? Do not do this transition in a bubble. Build a career change board of directors to support you. I want to tell you guys, it is possible to make the corporate to coach transition. There's also more security in being your own boss. You know, for many years, I told myself that my corporate job was the ultimate form of security. That was the story. That was the narrative. I told myself until I got laid off. And I realized that security was an illusion. And now as a business owner, I control exactly how much I bring in each month and each quarter. If I want to bring in more, I pull more levers in my business. Look at the current state of the world, right? They're talking about the recession, you know, all that stuff. Some of us just don't even watch the news, but you know, that's the kind of current, you know, news going on right now. I just bring that up to say I would much rather be running my own business right now during something like this where I control how much money is coming in. I pull the levers rather than being at the mercy of a corporate job, many of whom are laying people off right now during a recession. You know, from a finance perspective, I know a lot of people coming out of corporate jobs, you know, you guys are very successful, you're well past 6 figures, and it can feel scary. You know, am I going to replace that corporate income? A lot of you have families to support. I will tell you, for me, and many of my clients, you know, I'm making more money now as a coach and a business owner than I ever made at a corporate job, which is, I just say that because it's ironic, because that's the excuse that I would make to cling to the corporate job. There is no salary cap as a coach, as a business owner. So that's what I want to leave you with. If you have a plan, if you have the right support, if you have the right blueprint, anything is possible. And at the end of the day, you have a much greater purpose to fulfill than that corporate job. You were meant to serve. You were meant to coach. There are future clients out there right now literally waiting for you. Like, can you just imagine that? They are waiting for you to show up because they need you to coach them through their pain. Okay, so you owe it to them. Don't let them down. Don't let yourself down. Okay, so let's get going with this transition plan and make it fun. It doesn't have to be a drag. So there you have it, guys. How to build your corporate exit strategy. Drop a comment below. I want to hear what is one thing you will do coming out of this training to get one step closer towards building out your corporate exit strategy. Drop me a comment below. Give me one thing you commit to working on. Fear hates action. Fear hates action because action diminishes fear. So take action, even one step, on your corporate exit strategy. Do not wait until the time is perfect for you to start your corporate to coach transition. The timing will never be perfect. The timing will never be right. It'll never be perfect. So start building your blueprint and taking action now. Okay, I'm just going to check my comments, make sure I'm not missing anything. Heather says, freedom is on the other side of fear. Bet on yourself. You do not need to do this alone. Amen. Exactly. As always, if you are ready to build out your six-figure coaching business, you don't want to do it in a bubble, you want to attach to our blueprint, there is a link to book a discovery call in the comments so we can explore whether you'd be a good fit for the Corporate to Six-Figure Coach Academy. And we just love speaking with you guys and learning more about your business goals in general. And that conversation would be, to explore how we could potentially help you achieve them. So link to book a call in the copy near this video. And of course, for those of you who joined late today, do not forget to click the link to register for the free 5-day Choose Your Niche, Nail Your Messaging Bootcamp. It is July 11th through July 15th. If you know any coaches who you might like to bring as an accountability buddy, by all means, please share the registration link with them. Let us know, give us a heads up they're coming our way so we can support them. This bootcamp is very special. You're going to leave knowing your niche, having your messaging on point, right? We're going to talk about all of those things. Again, your niche should be something you love, but also clients who can happily pay for your services. The other cool thing about the bootcamp is we're assigning you a personal concierge. So this is not like just me on camera speaking to the cats. Literally, each of you that register will be assigned a personal concierge. Why? Because they are going to customize this experience for you. They're going to reach out to you in the DMs, figure out what you want to learn, where your challenges are, and they're going to customize the entire experience for you so that you're attending the right days of the boot camp, you're getting the right trainings, you're getting the right extra support. Now is really the time to lean in because we're leaning in and we're going to give you everything we got. So that's it, guys. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week. I will catch you next Tuesday, same time, same place. And thanks so much for joining. Talk soon.